Hello everyone. Once again, welcome to my channel BBTechHub. So nowadays I'm going through some sessions about the IP address. So here in the last two videos, I have described about the IP address, little bit introductory session. So now I'm giving you a list what topics I'm going to cover in this IP address. This is the basic concept of IP. Of course, later on I'll come up with the subnetting part. Once I will go for the CCNA series, then I will go for the subnetting part. The basic things I'm going to cover, you can see I have listed down 20 points, 20 topics about this IP address. All those areas will be cleared gradually. Okay. So in the last two videos, I have gave some introduction about the IP address, and today also again, I'm going ahead with the new concept of IP. Okay. So everyone, so you follow this channel, you can get in details about the IP address. So today, I'm going to discuss about what are the classes of IPv4. So you all know IANA is managing the IP address. Good, very good. So total IPv4. So told you already. This IPv4 is nothing but 4.3 billion. And this 4.3 billion IP address will be managed by whom? IANA. So what IANA has done for the better management, IANA has divided IPv4 addresses into 5 classes. On the basis of what? On the basis of first octet value, which that is the first octet. IANA has told, I am dividing all IPv4 addresses into 5 classes based on the first octet value. So you see, previously told IPv4 consists of 4 octets. So here IANA has just used the first octet. How IANA has done this thing? IANA has done the 5 classes A, B, C, D, E. And you look it nicely. Every octet start with 0 and end with the maximum value 255. You see, IANA has taken 0 to 127 as class A, 128 to 191 class B, 192 to 223 as class C, 224 to 239 as class D, and 240 to 255 as class E. Actually, what does it mean? That means in any IP address, if the first octet comes within 0 to 127, it would be a class A IP address. Am I clear? Suppose I am writing 10.10.20.30. So everyone very carefully you see this is the first octet is 10 and 10 is coming within 0 to 127. That means what? This is a class A IP. Similar way, you see, if any IP address first octet comes under 128 to 191, it will be considered as the class B address. As an example, you can see 172.16.1.2. So you follow very carefully. This 172, this is the first octet. And this 172 is coming within this value. That means 172 is nothing but a class B IP address. The similar way, if you go for the class C, I'm writing an IP that is 192.168 dot, suppose 1.2, and you very carefully observe this 192 is coming within 192 to 223 range. That means this is also a class C IP address. So am I clear, everyone? So whenever you see an IP address Don't go for any octet. Just stick to the first octet. And in the first octet, whatever the value, if this value comes within the range of 0 to 127, means it is a class A IP. If the value is within 128 to 191, it is a class B IP. And if the value falls within 192 to 223, then it must be a class C IP. Am I clear? So I think now onwards, you will not face any type of problem while identifying any IP address. Am I clear? Now see, this is the very important thing, and the most important thing is that the among these 5 classes, class A, B, C, A, B, and C, this is universally used for networking purpose. Which purpose? It is used for networking. Then what is the use of class D? Class D used for multicast, and class E is used for R&D, research and development. You are getting my point, everybody? So total 5 classes are there, among which A, B, C, this is used for the networking purpose. Class D is used for multicast purpose, and class E is used for research and development. Okay. So now you see one thing. Whenever we talk about the networking field, we always deal with these 3 classes of IP, A, B, and C. Clear? Okay. Now I am moving towards the another thing. You can see over here, that is the point number 6. I have mentioned types of IPv4 address. In this IPv4 address, it is categorized in 3 ways. What are those? Those 3 are nothing but the based on 3 types of communication. Okay. So one type of communication we called as a unicast communication, another we called as a multicast communication, and another we call it as a nothing but my broadcast communication. So let's see what it is. So IPv4 addresses are 3 types: unicast, multicast, and broadcast. So you see over here what happened exactly. In this unicast means what? If there is a sender is sending the data and it will be received by only one host in the network, that type of communication is called as unicast. Is it clear, everyone? So what is unicast communication? We called is at nothing but 1-to-1 communication. What is unicast? It's a 1-to-1 communication. That means what? Data sent by one host, and received by one host. We call it as a what? Unicast communication. And this type of communication when happens, what type of IP address we are using? We are using the unicast IP. Okay. So for unicast communication, we need unicast IP. If I go for the next, that is multicast, what it is? Suppose you think in a network, there is a machine that is the sender. And this machine is sending data to multiple devices. Multiple devices is receiving the data. But it is not sending the data to the every device. This type of communication is called as what? This is called as a multicast. So multicast means what? 1-to-many communication. Am I clear, everyone? If I go for 1-to-many communication, then we call this as a multicast communication. That means I can say data sent by one host and received by many hosts is called as what? multicast communication. So when there is a multicast communication happens, at that moment, what happens? We need the multicast address. And you can see in the IP address, in the IPv4, what happens? Class D is reserved for the multicast. Okay. So class D is reserved for multicast. Fine. Now the last type of communication is broadcast. What is broadcast? It's a very interesting thing. That means in a network, when a host is sending data, it will send it to all hosts at a time. Is it clear? Like a WhatsApp group. When we are sending a message, it will be received by the every person of that group. Same way. So broadcast communication is done when there a host want to send a common message to every host in the network, that called the broadcast communication. And technically we call it as a one to all communication. That means data sent by one host and received by every host in the network is called as broadcast communication. So when this type of situation happens, at that moment, the broadcast IP addresses are used for such type of communication. Okay, so these are the three types of communication, and for these three types of communication, three types of IP addresses are required. So when we will go for the next topic, what is network address, broadcast address, and host address, at that time it will be very much clear what is the unicast IP we are using and what are the broadcast IP we are using. So okay everyone, okay. So up to this today for this video only. Thank you everyone. Keep watching this channel. Next session, I will come up with the network ID, host ID, and broadcast ID. And for your information, when we go for the CCNA, means we are dealing with the router, at that moment, what happens? We're not talking about single host IP. We talk about the whole network. So first of all, everyone has to understand very clearly what is network address and what is actual the host address. So thank you everyone. We'll meet in the next video. Thank you.